Yo, it's Chris Guns, and today my guest is up-and-coming Philadelphia guy, WBC Continental America's welterweight champion, Ronald Cruz. Big fight coming up for him on NBC SportsNet against Antoine Smith on Friday, September 21st, and he's our guest today. So get him on the line. Ronald Cruz, thanks for joining us on PBI Radio, man. Pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure being here.
Tell me about yourself, man. What part of Philadelphia were you raised in?
I'm actually not from Philadelphia. I live close to Philadelphia, about an hour away. About 45 minutes away from Philadelphia.
And what's it like growing up where you're from?
Actually, I was born in Puerto Rico. I lived in Puerto Rico till I was 10 years old. Then I moved over here to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And
were you involved in boxing in Puerto Rico too?
No, not in serious training until I got over here at a later age.
Yeah. Tell me about when you came here. How was it being raised where you're from? What kind of streets are there?
There's place in every place. There's always bad area. So I was more in an area where it was more violence and gangs and stuff like that.
And
I didn't really get into boxing. There were no boxing gyms around where I was at until I was 19.
Tell me about the Cruz household. How would you describe it?
My household?
Yeah.
I had my brother pass away when I was 14 years old. My brother passed away. He died, unfortunately, of overdose of drugs.
Wow.
And then I didn't have that. He was actually my father figure in the house. He was I didn't have that father figure to really hold me down. I had my mother who was really she's a really humble, nice person. I didn't really have that father figure to hold me down in the house. So I kind of, I went around partying, doing things a lot of young kids are doing, especially when they don't have a father figure to hold them down.
Yeah. How old were you when your brother passed?
I was 14.
Yeah. And what kind of kid were you? Were you into sports growing up?
Yeah, I was always into sports, basketball, baseball, you name it. I loved every single sport,
So who got you into thinking about trying out boxing?
Boxing was always something I wanted to do. Even when I was a little kid in Puerto Rico, I visited the gyms and kind of looked around in the gyms, and it was something I always wanted to do. From watching Rocky movies and being, it was just a dream for me to be a boxer.
So when you walked into the gym, what gym was it?
Well, they didn't open the gym in the south side area where I lived. They didn't open the gym until I was 19. And right away when they opened that gym, I was in there from the first day.
And how old were you when you had your first amateur fight?
I was 19.
And tell me about your amateur career. What was your record?
I was in a period of 1 year, well, actually 13 months, I had 28 fights, so I was pretty busy in the amateurs. I had 28 fights and I only had 3 losses. And right from there, I went pro.
Wow. What made you decide to go pro so soon?
I just wanted, I didn't think my style was made for amateur. I was just constantly looking for, I was more of a power puncher, I had more of a professional style, and it's working out more in the program. And
tell me about who you fought in your first fight, and what do you remember about it? Where was it, and how did it end? First pro fight.
My first professional fight, I fought this tough guy that had never been stopped. He had 4 losses at the time, and he had never been stopped. So I went 4 rounds with him. My first fight, I had the experience of going 4 rounds with a tough guy that never stopped coming. So
how'd that feel?
It was a good experience.
How'd you feel after winning your first fight and having to go 4 rounds? Were you tired at the end of it?
No, actually, I was good. One of my strongest points as a professional is that I'm a relaxed fighter and never get out of control. I'm in there, and I did good after 4 rounds.
In your second pro fight, you fought Andrew Duncan at the now closed Blue Horizon. What was it like to fight at that building for a Philly boy, or near Philly? Came around close to Philly. Did you ever go to that building before you fought in the ring? Did you ever go see fights there?
No, actually, no. But I'm glad I got to fight there before it closed down. The legendary Blue Horizon. You know, now I can say that I fought there.
Mm-hmm. And what was the fight like itself with Andrew Duncan?
The atmosphere in the Blue Horizon, you know, I don't think there will ever be an atmosphere like that. You know, just the crowd itself, the Philly crowd. They will be very tough on you if you're not an exciting fighter. You know, but luckily they love me at the Blue. You know, Philly's crowd I was always welcome in Philly.
Yeah, and you're trained by Lemuel Rodriguez. They call him Indio. Tell me about your trainer. What kind of trainer is he?
He's more than a trainer, more than a friend. He's like family to me. You know, me and him have a good relationship, like like father and son type of relationship. Big brothers, and little brother, or something like that. But me and him are really, really tight. So
your relationship expands beyond boxing, and it's probably a relationship you needed in your life at the time, right? So you're 9-0, and you bring that record in against another young guy. He's 14-1, Jeremy Bryan. He's a former 2-time national Golden Gloves champion, and you went right through him, didn't you? Tell me about that. Fight. Tell me about the fight with Jeremy.
At the time, I was looking to put my name out there, and I looked at him as a ticket. You know, just if I could stop this guy, and people will start to know me, and that's exactly what I did.
A few wins later, you fought Chris Fernandez. He fought a lot of guys. He usually doesn't win, but he's a good gauge of where you are, and you did what everyone else with a future does. You beat him. But what do you remember about that fight? The fight with Chris Fernandez.
Chris is another tough guy that just doesn't back down and keeps coming. And that was a good experience that I had to hit him with everything, you know, just to get the stoppage.
And next up, you fight Angis Ajaho. What did you think of him?
Technically, he was very good. He had me thinking in the ring, you know, trying out new things until I caught him and was able to hurt him and finish him.
Then came Alan Conyers. What was the Conyers fight like? Was that the first fight on TV for you? First televised fight?
With Alan Conyers, no, that was not televised. With Alan Conyers, I had to be real careful with him because he had knocked out a couple. He had knocked out a couple good fighters.
Yeah.
So and I felt his heavy hands early in the fight, so I had to be real careful, smart with him, and I didn't take careless. You know, I wasn't careless, and I was able to pull off a win there too.
And the first time you went 10 rounds, how'd you feel after that one was over? How'd you feel?
I'm always my worst critic. You know, I thought I could have done a lot better. I think, you know, looking at that fight now, looking at it now, I think I would have been able to stop him if I fought him now.
And then your last fight, you fought Prentice Brewer. That was your first televised fight. I know that. And it was for the vacant WBC Continental America's welterweight title. Was there any more nerves knowing that it was for your first title and on television too?
Oh yeah, definitely. It was the first time on national TV. It was for the Continental title. It was in my hometown. You know, I had a lot of pressure on me that fight. There was a lot of big crowd in there. Mm-hmm. But you know, I pulled out the win there too.
And how'd you feel holding up that championship at the end of the night?
Good. Like I said, my worst critic. I mean, I had the title and it felt good and all, but I wasn't happy with my performance because I know I'm capable of a lot more than that. Mm-hmm. So with that saying, I'm coming out my next fight a lot more relaxed, a lot better, and be able to show what I have to the crowd, to the people in the world.
And you're defending that title in your own hometown next Friday Again, you're fighting on NBC Sports Network, Fight Night at the Sands. How many Ronald Cruz supporters do you think you're expecting this fight?
No. Well, I don't know. I really can't say that. You mean reporters for?
How many fans?
For interviews?
How many family members?
Oh, okay. Well, last time it was sold out. It was 2,000 people. 2,000 people fit in there. It was sold out, so I expect the same thing. Sold out again.
And what do you think of Antoine Smith? Experienced guy.
Yeah, another tough fighter. A lot of people, I think, underestimate him because of his losses. The guys that he's lost to are all, good fighters. And I think he gave a lot of these good fighters great fights. Like, for example, Cameron Cintron. I think when I saw that fight the first time, I didn't even imagine that I was ever gonna fight Antoine Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought he actually won that fight, with Cintron.
Yeah. And what do you think you'll have to do to be victorious? You'll probably be more calm at the outset because you've been there and done that on TV already. What do you want to do once the bell rings?
Looking at his tapes and working in camp, a lot of different tools I could use against him, and I'm just utilize everything I can utilize to get that win.
If you are successful here, this is one of the deepest weight classes in boxing that you're in. In and around it, you got Floyd and Manny, you got Tim Bradley, Kell Brook, Victor Ortiz. There's so many names. Robert Guerrero moved up. Who do you want to fight next if you could get by him? Do you even think about that yet?
No, I don't think about who yet, but I just want to go out here and show the world that I'm ready for these guys. And right after, I'm not looking past this guy, but I want to show the world that I'm ready, and that the only way of proving that is beating him convincingly, beating Antoine Smith convincingly, and once I show the world I can beat him convincingly, then I'll fight any of these guys. Nobody is specific, just any of them. Just
come one, come all. What do you think about an all Pennsylvania fight with Danny Garcia? Did you ever think about that?
Danny, yes. Well, he's a 140-pound guy. I just fought him.
Might happen before. You did fight him before?
What's that?
You fought him before?
No, I sparred him a lot before.
You sparred him.
I know Danny personally. He's a cool guy. But if it ever has to happen, I wouldn't mind fighting anybody, like I said.
And what was it like sparring with Danny?
He's a great puncher. He punches very well for a 140 pounder. I don't know if he's seen that con fight shows it all.
Yeah, were you surprised by that con fight, or is that what you expected?
No, I didn't really expect it to go down. I mean, I knew that if he caught a con in the chin, I knew it was gonna be over. But I didn't expect it to be over that early.
Do you keep your eye on other boxing matches, or do you just focus on yourself? What do you think of the Martinez-Chavez fight tomorrow night?
I think Chavez might be able to give him some problems towards the end of the fight because Martinez spends a lot of energy with his movement, and but I just still think Chavez is not a very good technical fighter, so I don't think he'll be able to finish the fight and win. He'll finish the fight and lose on the cards.
And what about Canelo and Josecito?
People underestimated Josecito last time, but this time I don't see how he can upset Canelo. Canelo just will be too strong for him.
Yeah, I hear some kids in the background before. What? Tell me about your family. How many kids?
Yeah. I'm married. I have a daughter of my own, and like I said, I can say my wife's kids are mine too. I raised them, and they're like my own also.
So you got people depending on you. You feeling any pressure for this fight coming up?
I do, but it's pressure that I know I'll be able to handle very well on the 21st. And it's not. Last time I expected the pressure, but it was actually more pressure than I thought it was going to be. And now this time, nothing will faze me.
Yeah, you're moving on up quick. Are you on Twitter? How do your fans reach out to you?
Yeah, you could reach me on at RonaldJ25. Follow me at RonaldJ25. On Facebook will be Ronald Cruz Vega.
Ronald Cruz Vega. And thanks for joining us, Ronald Cruz. Good luck on September 21st against Antoine Smith on NBC Sports Network. We'll be watching her.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for your support.